The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He
back
missed
on
the
his
pit completely. He's crazy
West
stuff.
side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
They hail from around the globe, and though separated by oceans, they gather in the virtual world for reasons as varied as their locales. Whether it's a defending champion looking to retain his title, a new and eager hopeful striving for recognition, or a legend prepared to recapture past glory, in the end, the one goal they all share is to win. But when naming a victor, only one driver's name can be etched into the record books. You're watching the Tidal Influence MX-5 World Tour!
From the island continent that is Australia, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's live as it happens coverage of the MX-5 World Tour's Cecil the Lion Memorial. Remember Cecil the Lion? Well, so do the people at Tidal Influence. The grand finale brought to you by the good folks at Tidal Influence. In about 15 minutes, the green flag will wave here at Mount Panorama, and more than 20 little fluorescent MX-5s will scramble their way into the ominously named Hell Corner. This is the long-awaited, the much ballyhooed double-distance, double-point grand finale that will decide who is the DECA season champion. In the previous race, held on the tiny little configuration at Brands Hatch, the Buckeye Bullet, John Deuce Allen, claimed his second victory of the season and closed the gap between himself and his nearest rival, Dr. Amjad Yaman, who, try as he might, could not get around the Slovene machine Patrick Fliss and had to settle for third. And speaking of Fliss, the only thing that stands between him and his quest to become the first driver to post a perfect Ironman season that entails completing every scheduled lap is the final 136 miles, much of them parenthesed by the ever-so-near retaining walls. All of this is taking place while the three-time champion and current point leader Jan Koeman watches helplessly from his Swiss hotel room, hoping that the competition can force Yaman and Allen far enough down the standings for him to claim his fourth crown. 90 minutes of racing before the final reveal when the checkered flag falls at Bathurst. Hello everyone and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host Bill Soupzon. Helping me call the action is the best thing to hail from Australia since the Wallaby Darn. Richard Losper, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders, is the hardest working man in sim racing broadcasting, Joe Peak, and at his disposal will be the camera locations provided by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, Dougie Beard. Well, we talked about the points race in the opening. Let's actually bring up the graphics and see exactly where the drivers stand. Now, Jan Koemans holds a 68-point lead over Amjad Yaman. All the drivers who raced in at least one event this season will earn 50-point start and park points for the grand finale. So before the green flag even falls, Yaman will need to make up a 118-point deficit to catch Koemans. Now, 8th place should do it for Yaman's, but Yaman's biggest worry is that Allen, who is just 23 points back in the double points event like this, if Allen wins or finishes second, all Yaman needs to do is finish right behind him. Now, if Allen finishes third or lower, Yaman has a little more of a cushion. But before we delve deeper into the personalities behind the wheels, let me turn the mic over to my MX-5 expert, Richard Losper, to talk about the track that will be under the wheels. Richard, 34 long laps of restricted fuel cell that will require not one, but two, and maybe three stops. And you break it, you bought it, no fast repair rule, all takes place on this very special racetrack called Mount Panorama.
Absolutely. Good evening to you, Bill, and good day to all the viewers. And welcome to everyone on iRacing Live as well. Well, the finale at Bathurst. What can be better than this? We well remember a few seasons ago, a couple of seasons ago, a race at Bathurst in the series where we had the big one. 17 cars involved in a lap one pile up. unbelievable stuff that was. I was actually involved in that, and that made me vow never to race again in this series. But let us talk about Bathurst, the track. Now, it is situated at, it's called Mount Panorama is the actual name of the track. It's situated in the state of New South Wales in Australia, and near the little town of Bathurst. It is a place where people come once a year to do the famous Bathurst 1000 in the V8 supercars. It is a wonderful spectacle that takes place yearly here. There are a couple of other races as well. During the course of the year, it is just a normal country road. Anybody can drive on it. But when it becomes a racetrack, you have one of the most feared racetracks in the world. From the start-finish line into Hell Corner, up the mountain, through a section of the track that the walls are just a few meters away from you. There is no runoff whatsoever. If you get it wrong, it's a long way back to the pits. We have a 4-mile circuit, 6.2 kilometers, 23 turns. There's only one configuration. There's no other way to go excepting up the mountain and down the mountain. You also have, Bill, one of the longest, fastest downhill straights at any racetrack anywhere in the world. Conrod Straight it's called. And you have the chase there, which was specifically put in after we had a death at Bathurst. So this track is just marvelous. There's lots to say about it, but I will stop here and show you a lap guide that will show you exactly what it takes to negotiate one single lap of this track. Let's have that lap guide, Joe.
Alright, let's do a lap around Mount Panorama Circuit with Richard Losper behind the wheel of the GSRC MX-5. Coming across the start-finish line up towards turn 1, Hell Corner. Very important corner to get right and start off your lap with. 90-degree left-hander that dumps you right onto the mountain straight. Uphill, very long, over 1 kilometer long, which means if you don't get your exit right, you're going to be vulnerable for a long time. And to top it off, these MX-5s have a lot of draft, so that guy behind you is going to have so much pull. Up over the crest, and now you're heading towards Griffin's Bend. Very fast uphill right-hander. Going to be so important to carry your speed through here. You can see the grade increase visibly. Make sure not to understeer too much on exit because that wall is right there ready to bite you. Now, further uphill, up towards the cutting. Flat out through this little kink left-hander and then brake and utilize this increase in grade to really give your car grip. A little bit of a bump on the right side here, but the MX-5 handles it just fine. On through Quarry we go. And then you're going to have to hold your line just right up through this next series of corners. Going side by side is really not advisable. You are flat to the floor this whole time, and they are blind crests just to boot. So it's going to be very tricky to try and battle it out with someone. Little bit of a lift through this last left-hander, and then it takes you towards Skyline. Braking just as you get to the crest, and then down through the S's. Now we're heading downhill. And it takes you right into the dipper. Car is going to get a little bit unsteady through here, but stay brave. Further downhill, towards Forest Elbow. Heavy braking once more with the track dropping away from you. Try and hug that inside wall and get on the power as soon as you can, but don't get too greedy because that outside wall is right there. Now, onto the Conrod Straight, all downhill, and yet again with this long straightaway, draft battles are going to play a factor. But you'll see it leads you into the chase. Got to try and weigh your options. Is it worth trying to go side by side? Is the guy with you going to play nice and give you some room here? Look at this right-hander. Flat out all the way through, and then it takes you right into the braking for this chicane. A little bit of a blind crest here as you go through, but take it all the way out to the curbing, and then track out as you head towards the pit entrance. Really got to practice that pit entry, by the way, because there's a little chicane that's very slippery and very tricky. Now, Murray's Bend. Final corner. Deceptively hard to get that little 90-degree left-hander right, but that finishes your lap around Bathurst.
If a driver can just do that, they should have a good lap time. And speaking of a good lap time, a good time, it's time for our segment, Mountaintop Cabin Rentals, Keys to a Good Time, a chance to let viewers hear from drivers that don't usually make the interview because they're not on the podium. That may not be the case today with Travis Schwenke. He's been having some great races here lately. Travis, what's it going to take for you to have a good time today?
Well, there's a lot of walls here, so I got to keep it off those walls, and I'm also surrounded by a bunch of the championship leaders, so I got to make sure I stay out of their way and not cause any issues there.
Hey Travis, this is Richard speaking here. We are hearing that it might be a 3-stopper today. 2 stops are going to make it very close to finish the race with enough fuel. So in your testing, how have you found that?
Well, with the weather from the qualifying, it was a pretty easy 2-stopper. It was a lot of gas, and I was just running the numbers a few minutes ago, and it's definitely 2 full stops. It could take that 3rd stop.
And just another quick one, are you putting on tires at your stops?
Yeah, I mean, we have to take so much fuel, at least in 2 of the stops, that the tires are pretty much free.
Okay, well, thank you, my friend. Good luck in the race, and go out there and make sure that that you have a good finish.
I'll do that. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay, hopefully Travis can stay out of trouble. And if you want to get away from your troubles, why not visit Green Valley Lake, the best kept secret in Southern California's San Bernardino Mountains, where your best bet for lodging is Mountaintop Cabin Rentals. To get your keys to a good time, go to gvlcabinrentals.com. Okay, looking at the clock, we have about 2.5 minutes before they actually go to the grid, so we can take a look at the grid because the qualifying took place throughout the week. Now, if we look up there, we got to get to the graphics departments there that says turn 1 is a right-hander. That's not actually right. It goes left here, so flip all those. Imagine you're looking at it in a mirror would be right. The first turn is going to be a left-hander. Now, on the inside of the front row is Daniel Kent. He's your 6th fastest qualifier because of the quick 6 gimmick, he's moved up into the pole position. Now the guy to keep an eye on, Richard and I were talking about it while we were off mic, is Tomas Sabo. He's back. We haven't seen much of him this season. He's fast, and because of a poor finish earlier, he's on the front row. Now your second row is Travis Schwenke, who we just talked to, and Patrick Fliss, who wants to stay off the walls to see if he can get that perfect Ironman season. 136 miles to go, but a lot of walls between here and there. In the third row, more drama. It's Amjad Yaman is going to be just ahead of Deuce Allen. Now, Allen needs to finish ahead of Yaman if he has any hopes of getting this championship, and both of those guys need to be well within the top 10 if they're looking to catch Jan Koemans. Richard, what do you see for rows 4 through 7?
Well, it gets interesting and more interesting as we go down the field. So in position number 7 is Dexter Castro. Alongside him, Eric Garcia. Position 9, Billy Bob Wright and Benjamin Nelson in position number 10. Brian Cartier in position 11 with Geordie Fike in position 12. Then we have Michael Wright, who I believe is the nephew of Billy Bob Wright. He is in position 13. And then in position 14, Benjamin Lanowet.
And Benjamin Lanowet, the multi-Ironman champion, in position to win that again if Fliss would have trouble. In row 8, as we have about 20 seconds before they grid, Derek Holland there, and the newcomer, Tuan Tran, that we know from the Absolute Beginners series that we cover on GSRC. He runs the Skippy, and that he's going to run a fendered car in the MX-5 today. Row 9, Trip Smith, always fun to keep an eye on him in the Moose Mobile. And Jerome Ursum, still looking for that first top 10, came very close a little while ago. Looked like Jerome is not running the traditional Barbie scheme today, running something else on there. In row 10, Al Heaton. No, Jerome, you spun it while you're on camera. Al Heaton on the inside of row 10 in the 19th position, running 26 in the points right now. Carlos Torres tried to qualify, couldn't get in a clean lap, and will have to start back from row 10. Keep an eye on the Colombian driver. And the final 2 rows are veteran Joseph Aro and Andre Hedgeheim. Richard?
Starting Andre Hedgeheim. Well, that's it for the there's only one other driver that is listed here, Wojciech Podolski, who is also a Skippy driver, as we see them starting to grid up now. Not sure if Wojciech is actually in the race. Let's have a look. Can't see him on the track right at the minute. It's going to be a fantastic, very absorbing and intense race. Make no mistake, Bill, as we see them getting ready for a start very soon. Daniel Kent once again on the pole position. Tomas Zabo, normally very fast at this track. He is a specialist at Bathurst. Travis Swenke, Patrick is just going to be fantastic. Let's hope we have a very clean first lap, Bill, because that's going to be crucial.
Lights are up. 23 cars out there right now, as we can see. They're off. Everybody looking clean as they go down. Let's see if we can see who's jumping into the lead. Looks like it's going to be Daniel Kent going to take over the lead, with Thomas Zabel going to be right behind him in second place. Everybody looks pretty clean as they make it through Hell Corner, as they come down this long uphill straight now, as they head down into the first right-hander. There goes Zabel taking a peek on the inside of Kent. I think he's going to be in the prime position and will probably take over the lead.
And just looking from the rear of the field, last car on track here looks like Andre Hedgeheim at the moment. Don't see Benjamin Nelson on track or Wojciech Podolski, so it looks like a 20-car field. Everybody now getting up into the mountain section. So back to you, Bill. Clean at the back here at the moment.
Schwenke has worked his way around Kent now and is up into second position. Kent dropping down into third. Fliss holding fourth as they work their way through the narrow confines going up the hill. Yaman is running in fifth. And right behind him is Deuce Allen just biding his time. There's your top six. We'll take it a little farther back. Castro in seventh. A little bit back to Eric Garcia in eighth. Ninth and 10th, Billy Bob Wright and Brian Cartier.
Well, Bill, you know, the two drivers of the most interest here, well, a lot of them really are going to be interesting to watch. But really, the two who have aspirations to win the championship are indeed John Allen and Amjad Yaman. They are nose to tail basically at the moment. Looks as if John Allen is being pretty conservative in lap number one here, not trying to do anything desperate or anything out of the ordinary, just following in line there behind Amjad Yaman. Now this is not where John Allen needs to be if he wants to win this championship. Behind him, they have teammate in 49 Motorsports, Dexter Castro. They're going down Conrad Straight now for the very first time. And everyone is just behaving themselves, Bill. In fact, they're almost sedate in the way they are traveling at the moment.
Yeah, I almost think that everyone knows it's close now as we have a quick look back there a little bit farther back. Making a move on the inside of Kent now. That looks to be Fliss peeking as they go side by side. Kent hang on to the outside. He'll have the momentum as they cross the start-finish line for the first time. Kent on the outside with a little bit of momentum. And it looks like he's going to hang on.
Yep, Amjad Yaman stalking Patrick Fliss as well there as Daniel Kent goes a little while into turn one there. Patrick Fliss falls into line. Now they go across to the left-hand side of the track. Amjad Yaman in the draft of Patrick Fliss. They could try and move to the outside there. Patrick Fliss moves to the outside on Kent as they go up the mountain. When they come to Griffin Corner, he should have the line there. What will Kent do? Will Kent give it up? Kent braking early, not challenging, allowing Fliss to go through. Amjad Yaman follows. This is very risky here, too wide going into the cutting. This is not what you want to do. Patrick Fliss on the outside. Amjad Yaman backing off a little bit there by the looks of it. Patrick Fliss also backed off, very wise. These guys are very cautious going across the mountain here. You cannot afford a mistake this early in a 90-minute race.
I'll tell you who's loving that, and that's the Belgium ace, Jan Koeman, watching this comfortably right now from his Swiss hotel room. His really only hope is that Yaman and Allen mix it up and get into trouble and they finish outside the top 10. Actually, outside the top 8 is all probably Koeman's needs. So, while Allen is going to be aggressive, he's got to finish ahead of Yaman. He's got to make sure he finishes the race.
Well, you know the old saying, Bill, to finish first you have to finish. So these guys are very cautious now. And why wouldn't you be? I mean, it's 90 minutes of racing. They are on lap number 2. There's been something like 5 minutes of racing so far. You just don't want to do anything silly this early in the race. However, if you're looking at someone like Patrick Fliss, doesn't have too much to lose in the race.
Billy Bob Wright, we have a crash. Billy Bob Wright and Michael Wright. Maybe it's Michael Wright and also, yes, Michael Wright involved in it.
Yep,
Looked
Michael
like
Wright's
it might have been a Colombian driver. I'm not sure. We'll get it on the replay. Let's see who we see here. We're watching Michael Wright right now as they go up the hill. What happens here is just such narrow confines. Oh, he goes left and he hits the wall on the outside. Then he comes across. Oh, it was the Colombian driver. It was Carlos Torres got involved in that as well.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Very this early in the race. We see now Michael Wright in the pits already. Heavy damage on the right-hand side of his car. So he can basically park it there for a long time while he gets repairs. In 90 minutes of racing, however, he will have time to repair that car. So let's get back to the racing up front here. I'm driving once again here with Amjad Yaman and John Deuce Allen just behind him. John Deuce Allen just so cautious at the moment. Won't even try to get too close to Amjad Yaman. These guys know what it takes to win a long race. They're used to racing in other series where they do 90 minutes as a matter of course. But here we've got Amjad Yaman here on Daniel Kent. He's going to try and get ahead of Daniel Kent. Daniel Kent a little bit of, shall we say, being in the way. He's a slower driver than the two guys that he's right in between at the moment, which is John Deuce Allen, of course, and Amjad Yaman. This is not what John wants to see. He wants to be on the back end of Amjad Yaman all the time. Patrick Fliss making a little bit of a getaway. Patrick Fliss is very good at Bathurst, I can tell you. And so is Tamás Szabo. Tamás Szabo leading this race at the moment. We should mention that, of course, if he wins, Tamás Szabo, that takes away a whole bunch of points from these guys. So they're not liking the idea that Tamás is in this race, I would think, Bill?
Yeah, what Koeman's needed was a lot of the guys like Maillard and Szabo did it, Jelenko to come out and try to move, and it looked like
Patrick
in the
Fliss.
wall.
Now, Ken, that was Ken. Ken
Yeah.
hit the wall coming out of, my mind can't get around the name of the corner now. Forest Elbow, that's the one. And he's hit the wall pretty hard there now. It won't look as if there's any damage on the car, but I want to tell you that that is going to cause trouble for him later on in the race. Now we see John Allen making a move. He's on the inside there. Daniel gives it up. Thank you, Daniel. And John Allen moves up one position to get right behind Amjad Yaman once again. Yeah, Bill, just to comment on what you said there, if we'd had a whole bunch of drivers not in the championship but fast enough to take some places away from these guys, that would have made it very interesting. But we only have guys like Tamás Szabo, Travis Schwenke and Patrick Fliss in there. So I want to tell you, they're going to make it interesting for the two guys who are contending for the championship win, which is the two guys on my screen at the moment, Amjad Yaman and John Deuce Allen.
Yeah, all Dr. Ramjad really needs to do is stay within striking distance. Allen needs to put at least a position ahead of him, between them, to get there. Allen right now has a good run, a little bit of a toe. Let's see if Allen's going to take a peek in here. You can see him on screen right now, tucked right in behind such a long straightaway. I don't think he's going to do it yet. Really pointless to do it now. But you can see back behind them, Kent beginning to fall a little bit back. There's Dexter Castro now. If we drop back a little bit, Castro in 7th place in a nice little battle with one of our sponsored cars there of Eric Garcia. Garcia having a very good season this time, looking to crack into the top 10 in the standings. Garcia in that brown and black kind of wood grain color Eagle Nest Tavern machine, running in 8th position.
Yeah, and behind Eric Garcia is Billy Bob Wright. He's not that far off Eric Garcia, so this could be end up in being a nice little battle here for some of the minor positions. Dexter Castro, Dexter Castro doesn't race all that much. Not quite sure how much practice he's put in at Bathurst, but he's slowly making up time on Daniel Kent, who we should remind viewers, he started in the pole position and he's managed to work his way backwards now to 6th position, as we see Dexter Castro making time up on him. He's got a bit of pace, has Daniel, but he's not in the same league, I don't think, as the guys in front of him, John Deuce Allen. Now, let's have a look at John. He's in the draft of Amjad Yaman. He will make up a bit of time on Amjad. He's not quite close enough, I don't think, to make any kind of a move, but I want to see what the attitude of his racing is in terms of how willing he might be to make moves. We know that Amjad Yaman is going
Benjamin
to
Nelson in the wall. Sorry, let's see if we can get a replay of that. Benjamin Nelson has looped it. We'll get a replay right now as we see here. Benjamin Nelson in that red, it's the Alabama University, the Crimson Tide. Let's see right now as we're watching. He already had a little damage on the right-hand side of it. Let's see if we can see what happened. Did we catch it here? Oh, there he goes. Looked like he maybe caught the wall on the inside, then lost control. Boy, that's a hard hit. That could be the end of his day.
Yep, that is unfortunate. The walls at this place are completely unforgiving. You slam into one of those walls, you are going to get heavy damage. Of course, the walls are absolutely necessary, because if there were no walls, you're looking at a long fall down to the bottom of the valley there, Bill.
Yeah, it would be like Pikes Peak if they didn't have the walls here on this. You know, if we're looking at this battle now between Fliss and Yaman and Allen, and maybe Richard, if you can keep an eye on... Wait, did Allen go in the wall? No, I guess he's okay. I'm going to rewind here a little bit.
He's got damage. Allen has got damage. Let's go back and have a look. I'm going to go and have a look and see what happened there, but he has got heavy damage on his left side there. His car is crabbing a little bit. This is not good for John Allen. He'd be cursing himself. Let's see what happened there, Bill.
As I was watching it right now, he just kind of glanced. We're on replay right now. Looks like he kind of almost missed the apex there and just glanced it off the tire barrier. But boy, you never know. Sometimes you hit hard and your car is fine. Sometimes you just glance it and it's damaged. It does not look healthy.
Oh, he's gone. He's looping it. He's hit the wall hard. Another car involved as well. A couple of other cars hitting him there. John Allen is out of this race. This is terrible. This is tragic. This is unfortunate, Bill. This is curtains for John Allen's opportunity to win this championship.
Horrible, tragic, unfortunate curtains. Boy, Richard Losper going through the dictionary, getting adjectives to describe the tragedy that happened to John Deuce Allen. Oh my goodness, we're watching on replay right now. Clearly the car, Richard, wasn't healthy, and he was trying to get the most out of it that he could, and sometimes you don't know what to expect. And John Deuce is saying that he has horrible damage, obviously. We're watching it right now. What also was bad is that he if you'll see, he looses there, he puts it in the wall. Now there goes Castro. Castro makes a great move to get around him. Kent couldn't do it, and then Garcia was able to negotiate around. A nice job by Castro to avoid trouble. And sadness for the Ohio fans of Deuce Allen.
Yeah, that is just not what you want to see. By the way, those adjectives that I used, Bill, they are not mine. They belong to Kevin Brown, and they were mentioned in a MX-5 race way back at Summit Point about season number 5, and it's still one of our favorite races, so we bring that back a lot. But let's get back to the racing now. Amjad Yaman must certainly be breathing a sigh of Amjad Yaman's a great sportsman. He would not be happy that John Allen fell out of the race that way. But on the other hand, this is going to increase his chances of winning this championship. So from that standpoint, from that point of view, he's going to be happy about John Allen being out of contention for challenging him. But being the great sportsman that he is, Bill, he won't be very happy that John Allen went out that way.
Richard, keep an eye on the leaders, but I want to get our cameras back to drivers that are consistently in a battle. We're going to go back to 7th position with Benjamin Nelson. Fans of this series know that these drivers race each other hard every week. Benjamin Nelson in 7th, Brian Cartier in 8th. There's Jordy Fike in the yellow and black car. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong Benjamin. Lanowet in 7th, sorry. Cartier in 8th. Fike in the the yellow and black car there in 9th. Also in the mix every week is Derek Holland is in there, and then Billy Bob right back in the X-Lax car. These guys are in the battle every week. Now, the driver that's usually mixing it up with them is Andre Hedgeheim, but Hedgeheim been a little too aggressive. He has a tendency to give people some very passionate love taps, be kind of R-rated love taps, and I think Fike just might have glanced the wall there a little bit. So he had to do a stop-and-go penalty, so he's not in the mix. He's currently farther out of that mix now, currently running in, if I can find him, 14th position, well back. But these guys put on a battle every week. It's not always in this order, but they always put on a good show, and they have fun, and they race clean, and they respect each other. Good job from those 5.
Yeah, and just an update. Dexter Castro also glanced the wall just in coming across the mountain there, so he'll have a little bit of damage as well. I'll tell you who's traveling really, really well today is Travis Swenke. He's sitting in 2nd place behind Tomas Zabo. He's a good 5 seconds behind Tomas, and Tomas is just doing it easy at the moment. Tomas Zabo is clocking some really, really good times. Just looking at my timing and scoring here, he's doing an average speed of around 60, 70 miles an hour around here. So that may or may not be interesting. It's not that interesting to me. Right at the moment, is 5-second lead. Then Travis Swenke.
Oh, here's a pass. Let's go back and look here at Garcia making a move on Castro. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Garcia has gotten around Dexter. You know what? Dexter could be off the pace, huh, Richard?
Well, Dexter is off the pace. That damage that he sustained in hitting the wall has got everything to do with it. You just cannot touch the walls here and expect not to get some damage. The walls are made of concrete. There's no tire barriers here. There's Armco and absolutely concrete. So you can't touch the walls. You're going to be in trouble. So not surprising that Dexter Castro allowed Eric Garcia to go around him. Eric Garcia moves up into 5th place. Dexter Castro was holding 5th place. Amjad Yaman already about 10 seconds ahead of these guys. So I hate to say it, Bill, this is going to turn out into a no race. Amjad Yaman's going to win this thing, and all he has to do now is finish by the looks of it.
Yeah, but those walls, and we've seen what happens here is that it's so narrow, even if you're lapping a car, if there's trouble ahead of you, it's hard to get around them. I know probably Koumans is back in his, having a mimosa in his hotel room right now, and he's scratched off Allen. Well, there's one guy I don't have to worry about. So now all he needs, I know Koumans isn't hoping for disaster, but, oh, come on. Yes, he is. He's hoping for something to happen to Amjad Yaman. Koumans is one of the nicest guys you'll want to meet, but he wants that 4th championship. It's a shame he couldn't be here today. So now what's interesting is Castro is now beginning to fall back into the clutches of Benjamin Lanowet. He's going to get into this group here that we were talking about before of Lanowet and Cartier. Maybe we can look at it right now. It looks like Jordy Fike might be making a move on Brian Cartier here.
Well, he's not making a move. No, he's not making a move yet. Get it right, Bill. He is far enough away so that he's not ready to make a move. But on the other hand, Brian Cartier is close enough to Benjamin Lanowet to be making a move in the not too distant future. He has a peek on the inside there of Benjamin Lanowet, decides it's not a good point to try and make the move. Nice guy, Jordy Fike, one of the most gentlemanly drivers I've ever come across, has no mongrel in him whatsoever, and will not get into trouble, will give up a position rather than do something silly. But he is looking ominously close to Brian Cartier right now. Will he try and make a move on the inside going up the mountain? Let's have a look. This is a very good battle going on here between three drivers that have been with your series for a very long time, Bill.
Yeah, it is. And they have, I'm telling you, they battle it out every race. Now, what I think might happen here is I think Benjamin Lanawood leading the train in 7th place, I think he might have a similar fate to what may happen to Patrick Fliss, who's currently running in 3rd position. And that's fuel. I'm not sure you can run out in front and get all the way on 2 stops. I think if I was Cartier, I'm back there with an egg under the throttle, having a gentle... Oh, we have another car in the wall. Did I see another? As Daniel Kent has crashed.
Dear, oh dear. Yes, it looks. Let's see if we can get a replay of that one. That Daniel Kent in such bad luck.
See if we can find him. Might have been a little bit back. We see him in the pits right there. We're not sure if we can get far enough back. Let's see if we can find it. No, he's still there. Maybe he was... One more try as we keep looking for it. Where was it? No, it's been too far back. Yeah, it happened a while ago. So there's another driver out. Poor Daniel Kent started on the pole. And Bathurst gets another one. And that's what Amjad Yaman has to fear, Richard.
Yes, that's true, because he could get caught up in something that he has no control over. However, at the moment, he is catching up to Fliss, by the way. Fliss had a bigger lead than this, but right at the moment now, we are seeing that... who's that driver ahead of Fliss there? That must got to be a back marker. Yes, it's Al Heaton way back there, being lapped here by Fliss and Yaman as we speak. And now, let's see, the gap to... Travis Swenke is not that huge at the moment. It was 5 seconds from Szabo to Schwenke. It's now 6 seconds, but the gap between Swenke and Fliss is slowly coming down, I think. I'm not quite sure, but at this point in time, Travis Swenke doing a terrific job in 2nd place there. And Bill, to go to your point about the fuel, if you Tomas Szabo, if you're any of these guys up front, because they're not in a close pack and not getting the benefit of a lot of draft from anyone else in front of them, maybe Amjad Yaman's the only one who's got an opportunity to draft. Now, Amjad is very, very canny. He's a smart driver, so he's not going to want to overtake Patrick Fliss anytime soon. What he's doing, Bill, sitting behind him there, is saving fuel. Very important in this race.
Yeah, our director noticed that he even lifted down the straightaway. He's very much happy to be following Fliss. Fliss has to be careful. He wants to, he's got that Iron Man. He would actually like to get the win. It's going to be hard to catch Szabo, who's out there cooking with hot fish grease right now. But I think Szabo, Fliss would really like to get that win. He's had a couple seconds. Great race so far from Schwenke, but again, I'm worried about Schwenke's fuel consumption here. He's running hot laps all by himself, and I'm not sure, did Schwenke just hit it in the wall? Let me see. I'm looking right... No, we're okay. Boy, they get so close sometimes. It's hard to tell.
The wall
Schwenke
there,
looks to be
coming
fine.
out of Forest Elbow. Sorry, Bill. Schwenke did hit the wall coming out of Forest Elbow there. And that is gonna, it may or may not hurt his car. We'll have to see. But that looked to me like quite a hard hit there.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if I didn't see him hit the wall before. Maybe that's what accounted for him hitting it so hard on the next one. Sometimes you hit it, you don't know how hard your car is hurt until you get to something where it's important. Oh, I think the winner today is going to be the track.
Well, that gap between Swenke and Fliss has just disappeared right now. Swenke will be kicking himself for doing that. When he goes into the pits, he'll no doubt have some optional repairs as well. So,
and
go ahead.
Brian Cartier has just put it in the wall, currently running in about 11th position. He was in a battle. You see him slow right now as they're going around him. Oh, the track is winning, Richard. Here, we're going to watch it on replay. Let's see if we can find it. He was in that 4-car battle. You see him out there ahead of Fike in the yellow and black car. Let's see what happens to him here. Going up the hill. No, it happens on... We're going to watch as a ways away. Was it on the first corner? Is it the turn here? He's got Fike behind him. It's a ways to go, and Oh, maybe we're too late. Maybe he's given up the ghost here. Maybe we missed it.
Well, I want to tell you that let's get the cameras on the Eagle Nest Tavern car of Eric Garcia. Now moving up into 5th place. This has got to be one of the better races so far for Eric Garcia. He's a long way off from Amjad Yaman, but he is in 5th place, and that is a great if he can hang in there. Amjad Yaman and Patrick Fliss, they have caught up or just about caught up to Travis Swenke right now. The gap between Travis and Tomas Szabo has increased to 9 seconds. Now it looks as if Travis Bill is traveling okay. So at this point, the damage to his car could not have been all that significant. Sometimes you can have quite a hard hit, but if it's in the center panel of the car, you won't get any loss of speed. But if you hit with any of the corners of the car, front or rear, you will have a problem. So guys need to be very cautious, particularly coming out of Forest Elbow there. It's so easy to put it into the right-hand wall there.
Yeah, well, Schwenke falling back is going to be good news for Fliss, because Fliss had nobody to save fuel in there. So if Schwenke can have decent lap times, maybe Fliss can tuck in behind him and save fuel the same way that Yaman has been doing off of him for this whole race.
Yeah, but Yaman has fallen off a little bit there from the back of Fliss. He's still in draft range, so I don't think he'll be too worried. But the gap has increased to over a second now between, well, the best part of a second between himself and Fliss. Meanwhile, Fliss has got a sniff here of another position, moving forward another position. And so he's going to be tackling Travis Swenke as they go down the front straight now on lap number 11, Bill. And in fact, we've had about 27 minutes or so of the race already done. So we're starting to get into about a third of the race, am I right?
Yes, 34 laps. Let's do the math. Not quite there yet. Maybe 9 times 3, 27. We're getting there. 24 laps to go. We got 10 out of the way. Hey, let's take a look. This is something interesting here as we have a long race. Let's look for drama where we can fight it. Let's go back to 12th position, Jeroen Ursum. Why is he out there running by himself? Why is this interesting? Because poor Jeroen would love to get a top 10. He holds the record for the most races entered without a top 10. Right now, he's currently in 12th, and I think he's got a good shot at it today. The driver ahead of him, Brian Cartier, is injured. That car is beginning to fall. That's 11th position. A little more help and attrition, and it could be the day for Jeroen Ursum to get first top 10.
Battle. There was a battle going on just in front of Brian Cartier there. Jordy Fike was having a look at Derek Holland. Some good battling going on here just in front of Brian Cartier, who's got the damage on his car. Have a look at this one, Bill. You've got Benjamin Lanowet, Brian Cartier, Derek Holland. They're a little bit on top of each other there. This is very interesting.
Well, Holland is making a move. He had just gotten around. Oh, and Lanowet pulling off to the side. Holland had just gotten around Cartier to get into 10th position. Then he moved around all those guys. Holland is flying. A great race from him. Currently up into 7th position.
Yep, and the Tidal influence car there of Benjamin Lanowet, he kind of tamely gave it up and allowed all 3 cars to pass him. I wonder if he's got some damage. Let's have a look at the front of his car.
Either damage or he did the math and realized that he was a 3-stopper and he wasn't going to be able to get there unless he slowed down a bit.
Yeah, no damage on his car, so he's just being very cautious. Wise, I want to say, Benjamin. Give it up rather than try and get into a battle, because that's an ugly place to start battling into the cutting there. You just don't want to be fighting it out with another car anywhere across that part of the mountain, let me tell you.
But Derek Holland is flying. Holland has pulled away now from Fike as we have cars coming into the pits.
Yeah, pit stops will be taking place now. Brian Cartier still got a decent amount of pace here, stalking Jordy Fike there. But you're right, Derek Holland, once he got by, he just said, see you guys later. and away he went. He's not that far ahead, but certainly he's got a good gap on Jordi Fike. In front of him, there is Dexter Castro. Now, Dexter's been kind of falling back slowly but surely after having a little bit of trouble with one of the concrete walls, no doubt. So he's not traveling all that well. So these guys, Derek Holland, Benjamin Lanowet, Jordi Fike, these guys are not guys that you see in the top 5. But if they continue on the way that they are going, this is going to be a top 5 finish for one of them, make no mistake.
Fliss has gotten around Schwenke now. I'm hearing from the director. They're making their pit stops right this very minute. So there goes in. You can see Fliss going in, Schwenke going in. The doctor is going to... oh, they're coming out. Sorry. No. Oh, I was on delay. Sorry. They're going in. The doctor, Amjad Yaman, had stayed out for one more lap.
Yeah, and I'm getting information here from my timing and scoring that Tomas Zabo has done his pit stop already. And he spent 61 seconds in the pits. So that's Patrick Fliss has done a pit stop according to the timing and scoring. Is this right? I'm trying a new timing and scoring application here, guys, so I'm not quite sure whether this is telling me the truth or not. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I believe you're right. That puts Amjad Yaman in the lead, but of course Yaman is stretching that distance now. This is where Koemans has got to be standing up right now. Sit down, Jan. Koemans has got to be hoping that Yaman, in an attempt to go one extra lap, might run out of fuel. Yaman is doing his very best to two-stop this, as he's 23 laps to go. He's gone 11 laps. That's 11 and 11 and 11 is 33, 34 laps. I'm not sure if he's gone far enough. Oh, this is exciting.
It is. There may not be a lot of battles going on at the moment, but what is exciting is the strategy and the thought processes that these guys are going through. So Travis Schwenke at the moment out on track there. I'm trying to see where he is. So Travis is in 3rd place at the moment, according to iRacing timing and scoring. 4th place right now. Hasn't come in for a pit stop here. Let's see what happens.
Actually, they have.
He's done.
Amjad Yaman's the last one in, and thankfully for Mama Jean, his biggest fan, he made it to the pits, Mama Jean, so he's in there right now getting fuel. But it won't be long till Thomas Zabel gets around. Maybe if we can find, in fact, Zabel's going to pass him right now. Maybe we can find Fliss right now. As I see, a lot of the other cars were able to go just as far as we see that battle back there with Garcia and Fike are all coming in right now. Here comes Fliss right now. Is he going to get around Yaman? Fliss is just passing Yaman. Yeah, Yaman's still in the pit, so Fliss is going to get around him. Yaman just coming out. Let's see if Yaman gets out ahead of Schwenke. It looks like he is, but Schwenke's going to have the momentum. Schwenke with a full head of steam. Yaman trying to get that little MX-5 lawnmower motor going. He's kicking. He's using his oars. He's scooting forward in the chair. Not going to be enough as Schwenke gets around him. Yaman is going to fall back into 4th.
You need to come at a good 5-6 seconds to account for gathering speed as you go uphill. And make no mistake, that hill is quite steep going up the mountain there. He had no chance of keeping Schwenke out, of getting ahead of him. But now he's up to speed. And this will now develop into an interesting battle. You've got the same 3 guys, Fliss, Schwenke and Yaman still together. By the way, we can tell you that the pit stops are averaging out at about 59 seconds to 61 seconds, depending. The fastest pit stop that I'm seeing here was Eric Garcia with 57 seconds. But that is, guys going in, taking maximum fuel, which you have to do, and grabbing some tires as well. So everybody should be good to go again. Any little damage they might have had would have been repaired if it was light damage during that pit stop as well. So these guys should be good to go. Now I want to keep an eye on Travis Schwenke to see if he can make up any time on Patrick Fliss, because Patrick Fliss is now in 2nd place. Tamar Zabel out there still in 1st place, and then Amjad Yaman in 4th place, and Eric Garcia, we mentioned it before the pit stops, he is now up to 5th place. Jordi in 6th place. So It's looking good for some of these guys who don't get a lot of chance, Bill, to get up close to the front. But certainly on a long track like this with the attrition rate, that is what's happening.
Well, keep in mind now that Yaman went one more lap than his competitors, and so did Fike. Those guys back a little bit there. Fike and Lanowet came in that 1 lap extra. Zabo and Fliss all came in, and Schwenke all came in a lap earlier than Yaman. So if this is indeed a 2-stop race, I would think that the driver who could go 1 extra lap would have the best chance. There's a real possibility that Zabo, Fliss, and Schwenke will need to come in for a splash and go, which could give the win over to Yaman and really shake stuff up.
Well, that's true. But you know what, Bill? I want to... let's go and put the cameras on Michael right here. So he had a very early encounter, shall we say, and had to do a pit stop. That pit stop was over 1,200 seconds. So you can do the math. That was like 6 minutes or whatever. He's back in the pits now, just got out running again. Back in the pits, would be his regulation pit stop. Still trying to get some damage repaired. You gotta have sympathy for guys like these who enter a 90-minute race and it goes wrong so early, and then they just got to try and continue on. But you know what is good? That they stay in the race, Bill. They don't just give up and go home.
Yeah, absolutely. And with attrition being so, as we're watching the battle right now there between Castro and Holland, with Castro just in front. Holland has really been impressive here. As we see Holland peeking to the inside, he's going to make this move as they come in. I think he's going to have he's going to surrender the spot, going to let Castro go up the hill. Oh, we're hearing from the director that he's lifting, so a lot of these guys are doing the math, I think, and want to make sure that they can get there on 2 spots. What I was talking about there is there's battle going on all around here. Great battles from everybody. And yes, with attrition being such a big factor in the race today, stay out there, get those positions.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, let's do a little bit of a wrap here, Bill. We have done 37 minutes roughly in the race so far. We're on lap number 14. Tomas Zabo leading this race by 6.5 seconds over Patrick Fliss in 2nd position. Travis Schwenke in 3rd position. Amjad Yaman has found a new person to draft off and save fuel. So he's going to be very happy to just keep Travis Schwenke in front of him, which might sound strange, but that is the game that is being played here, Bill. Amjad Yaman indeed in 4th place, and your top 5 is Eric Garcia holding down the 5th place, and then we've got Jordi Fike, Dexter Castro, etc. So very good racing here, not the most exciting racing that we're used to seeing in the sprint races, but fascinating from a strategy point of view.
Yes, we're watching this battle there with Holland, and this time he's going to do it. I think Castro says, get around me there. I think Castro wants some fuel. I think this is kind of like a bicycle racing in the Tour de France there, where they're going to let one guy lead for a little bit, then Castro's going to get some fuel. Castro doesn't want to be out there doing all the work. So I think Castro's going to tuck in behind. These guys are well aware of what needs to be done. Now, meanwhile, if you're Thomas Zabel, you're saying, I don't care. I'm just going to run out here some really hot laps, and I'll beat you anyway, even if I have to make a 3rd stop for splash and go. He's now got a 7-second lead over Fliss. I would think, Richard, you'd probably need about, pretty long pit lane here. What do you think? Maybe a 25-second lead to come in for a splash and go and still get out. Wouldn't you say? Even more, maybe, huh?
Yeah, it's getting into pit road is tricky. There's a little kink in pit road itself which can catch you out, and then getting out, it dumps you straight onto the track in front of cars as well. So it is a bit tricky. But you know, your reference to the Tour de France, Bill. If you keep that reference going, that metaphor, then these guys here, Dexter Castro, Jordi Fike, Derek Holland, this must be the peloton, would you think?
That's right. And it may be that way. We may end up with a big finish, a big jumble here all the very end with people saving fuel. We have an interview. Let's go ahead. We have time now with, this will be kind of sad. We can bring John Allen into the booth while we have a little break. Richard, you want to talk to John for a minute?
Yes, let us bring John into the booth. John Allen, you got a copy?
I do.
John,
Come on, John.
we don't want to push it, buddy, but that is just tragic. What happened?
Well, I got a really light touch there on turn 2, lap 6 on the wall. I had to throw it into third gear. I came in a little bit hot and hit the inside curb, and it pushed me out. And for as light a touch as it was, it did do a number on my steering. And while I was figuring out how bad, in Skyline, it just swung the rear end around, getting ready to hit the top of the mountain. So apologies to those who it affected besides myself.
John, yeah, we caught that on the camera, unfortunately, in full HD, so it's going to be on everybody's screen. But yeah, you hit the outside curbing in Skyline there, and it just turned you straight into the wall, and that was kind of all she wrote. So you're sitting in the pits right now. How much damage have you got, and how long is it going to take to repair?
Just have about another minute or so of optional repairs, but in full about 25 minutes.
Wow. Look, John, I personally am very sad to see what happened there. We wanted to see the battle go down to the wire between yourself and Amjad. Not to be today, but I have got no words for you, my friend. Bill, over to you.
Well, we got a minute, John. We'll let you get back out there. Thanks a lot for coming to talk to us.
Sure thing.
One of the most discouraged I do's I've ever heard. It's like, John, do you have a copy? I do. It was like, oh, man.
Yeah. And why wouldn't it be that way? I mean, he had every chance of winning this championship, and that's what can happen, Bill. A track can take its toll of you, regardless of how careful you are. And he was really careful at the beginning of the race to try and not do something wrong. But you know what, Bill? Maybe he was too cautious. That was not the natural John Allen that was racing up in the beginning of this race.
Let's go ahead. We're looking right now at this battle. We're going to run here 6th position back. We're looking at Jordy Fike up ahead of 6. Now, I think these guys to swap around. They kind of just decide who wants to lead for a little bit. You got Fike ahead of Derek Holland. Both those guys have been saving fuel. Then you go a little bit back, you got Dexter Castro, who's been falling. Now, his car's been a little bit damaged. I'm not sure what he's up to, whether the car's not healthy or if he's just taking it easy. Running a little farther back than you would usually expect him to run in that 49 Motorsports machine. Then back behind him is another good battle here between Benjamin Lanouette in the Tidal Influence car and then Brian Cartier, who had some earlier damage. Those guys are in a battle for 9th and 10th position. Just kind of swapping positions again, watching fuel. Then let's go back a little bit farther. Here's somebody to keep an eye on. Andre Hedgeheim, we talked about him earlier. Very fast driver, usually in the same position. They're usually battling with Fike. He had a stop-and-go penalty. Well, he's made his way all the way back from that stop-and-go penalty, still running 18 seconds behind Brian Cartier in 10th position, but comfortably running in 11th. And why is that kind of important? Well, if we go back one more position, all the way back to Jeroen Ursum, still running in 12th. Unfortunately, Andre's got around him, so now he's still in 12th, 2 spots out of the that prize 10th spot. So there's your drivers running halfway back. In fact, let's go ahead and we'll do one more. So let's see who's running in 13th. Billy Bob Wright back there running about, let's see if I can get time for you here behind Jeroen. Where'd you go, Jeroen? What happened to Jeroen? I found it. There we go. About 10 seconds to Billy Bob Wright. And the last car on the lead is the Trips Induced Ability car running in 14th position. There you go.
Bill, can you hear me? I'm having a little bit of a glitch happening here with my technical issue here with my microphone.
And we go to we lose Richard there.
Bill, yeah.
We're back. We're going to roll the dice, see how long we can go before Craps comes up again, and TeamSpeak gives us a hard time. But it looks like we may have got our gremlins behind us. So, hello, welcome back to the Global Sim Racing broadcast. You were watching. Our director was able to keep the video going on there. Let's do a quick recap for those guys who are just tuning in now that they hear us talking again. Because I know when Richard and I, when you don't hear our voices, I know that there's no reason really to watch. Thomas Zabel currently 11 seconds out in front, comfortably out there racing to the rhythm of the road. Right behind him, Patrick Fliss has a 3-second lead over Schwenke, but I'm telling you that it's all going to come down to pit stops. I'm not sure if those guys can go the distance on only one more stop. Now, right behind Schwenke is the doctor, Richard, and he's been sitting back there just comfortably lifting, saving fuel. I think Amjad is in the catbird seat. And rounding out the top 5, Richard, before we go 6 through 10, I'll let you do that. Eric Garcia having a great race in the top 5 in that Eagle Nest Tavern machine.
Yes, he is indeed. And Jordy Fike in 6th position. Derek Holland, this is where the battle is. It's currently the only battle on the track. Benjamin Lanowet is next, but he's a long way behind in 8th position there. Dexter Castro, very conservative. I still have the feeling he has some damage there. He is in 9th place. And rounding out the top 10 is Brian Cartier. Cartier is starting to catch up there to Dexter Castro, or maybe he's been behind him for a little while. He's got some damage on the car. Bill, the attrition has been, well, I guess what we kind of expected, but yeah, it's not good. It's not what we wanted to see in this race.
Yeah, and we're watching this battle, and we use this term loosely between some of these battles because really they're just out there driving. If we look at the Fike Holland thing, they're just kind of driving. They're just kind of having fun, following each other. While we were away, while we were having our technical difficulties, John Deuce Allen was able to bring the car back out on the track again and quickly put it in the wall. So that's the end of his day and his season. But a great season from Deuce. We talked earlier in the season about what his goals were. Oh, John is still out there, they're telling me, after he put it in the wall. Going to lift that car around. We talked about what his goals were, and he's really happy with how he did this season. And we have good news here that the final nail has almost been put into the, I guess not a nail in the coffin, the final I has been dotted and T has been crossed, and we're very close to finishing the negotiations to have Season 11 of the MX-5 World Tour. Looks to be starting in February. So you want to come back for that. That's good news, Richard.
Yes, it is. And just a word about John Allen here. A very brave effort. He put in the wall a second time, came back in the pits, got some more repairs, and he is back out there once again. He's in 17th position. He's 10 laps down on the rest of the field. But I guess what he's fighting for right now is pride. And there's still positions to be made up in the championship, Bill. So he wants to try and stay out there to the end of the race, no doubt, and improve his position in the championship as much as he can.
We got to get a close-up if we can. I just noticed Jeroen Ursum. I hope I have the same paint scheme that GSRC has. Can we get a close-up on Jeroen?
Please, Bill. John Allen's hit the wall again a third time. Surely he's going to park it now. This is just... I have no words.
Some days it's just not your day. You know, if we can see that go by, you might be wondering, what is that on the hood of Jeroen's car? I believe it is an image of our own director, Joe Peak. It's the Joe Peak machine. What is that other? It is Joe Peak Fan Club is what he is. JPF on the side. Oh, it's a picture of Joe Peak on the side of the car. Oh my goodness, some people will do anything to get screen time.
And Jeroen has got some damage on the left-hand side of his car in the front there. And so he's going to have an uphill battle in trying to get himself into the top 10. I don't know whether it's going to happen this season, Bill, but yeah, these guys, you know, we got to take our hats off to all of these guys. The Andre Hedgeheims, the Jeroen Ursums, Trip Smith. Let's get the camera on Trip Smith. We have an opportunity here to get that. He's got such a beautiful paint scheme there on the number 28 car. These guys don't get an opportunity to get much screen time, Bill. But they make up the majority of your series, and we got to take our hats off to them for turning up every week or every second week, coming to race even though they know they are going to be somewhere near the rear of the field. Another guy that is in that category, Bill, is Al Heaton. Let's get the cameras on Al Heaton. He's got a lovely looking car there. Looks absolutely pristine at the moment. There's a car coming up behind him at really full speed, flying past him. That's Benjamin Lanowet. But he's out there and he's doing the best that he can. And this is racing. This is what happens in real life. This is what happens in sim racing.
Oh, the series would not be nearly as special without the dedication of the mid packers and the back markers who come out and one of the things, if you're watching this and you're wondering if the MX-5 World Tour is for you, absolutely it is. You'll find good racing all the way through from front to back and friendly guys to race with. In fact, some of the best battling we've seen here today has been from Fike and Holland and Lanowit and Castro and Cartier, those guys running in 6th through 12th position. So yeah, it's wonderful. Now, one of the things, usually, Richard, we have 45 minutes races, which is totally different for these drivers. Much more intense. It's a sprint race, but it's also totally different for the broadcasters. A 90-minute race really lets us relax a little bit, and we can focus on some of the drivers and have a little bit of a more conversation than we usually have in those action-packed, intense 45-minute sprints that we're used to seeing.
Absolutely, and
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeroen Ursum. Oh, I'm sorry, the Joe Peak fan club has crashed.
Dear, oh dear. Yes, he's put it in the wall. The mountain has claimed yet another victim. He continues on, coming down the mountain here now, going through the dipper there and into Forest Elbow, almost puts it in the wall again. Now he comes down Conrad Straight. When you've got a damaged car, Bill, Conrad Straight is fearsome. You just... Your heart's in your mouth coming down Conrad Straight with a damaged car because of the speed. You get up to the car, gets so light, and if you've got damage, a little bit of steering damage particularly, it's hard to keep that car on track. So good luck to Jeroen Ursum. Let's hope he can keep going, get back into the pits. It should be almost time for that second pit stop anyway, Bill.
And what's so frightening here, I've done it, I've raced on this track several times, and when you make a mistake going up or down the hill, there's nowhere to hide. You're stuck right on the track on these blind corners where guys are coming over. Yeah, they see a yellow flag, but they don't know where you are. You try to get out of there as quickly as you can, and you don't want to you can hit the button that gives you a tow back to your pit, but you don't want to do that because it takes forever. It's really scary when you're pinned out there. You want to get that car turned around, at least going in the right direction. There we see Jeroen. There's no quit, though. There's no quit in Joe Peak. That car looks like it's been through a war, but he's still out there turning laps.
Yep, and another driver who's out there and has had his troubles, Billy Bob Wright. He's still circulating. He's down in 13th position. He's 2 minutes, about 2.5 minutes off the leader, but he's still out there. And in fact, in front of him is Jeroen Ursum. So he'll be catching up to him shortly, no doubt, because he's got damage. But then so has Billy Bob Wright as well. So the attrition rate extremely high here today. And
Richard, I don't mean to interrupt, but our leaders are in the pits right now as we speak. They're getting 4 tires. In fact, here comes Thomas Zabel pulling out right now. Now, this is with 12 laps to go. I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable about getting to the end with 12 to go on a 34-lap race.
Yeah, Patrick Fliss has done the same. He's just coming out now. He will come out still in second place. Let's have a look. Travis Swenke was in the pits as well, and he's got he's one done. The only one out there still is Amjad Yaman. He's going to go around another lap. Well, he's saved enough fuel. He should be able to almost go to the end of the race with all the fuel that he's saved, Bill.
Yeah, I think he has one more pretty big drink to take here. But what it will allow him to do, since he saved so much early, it's going to allow him to be a little more racy if he chooses to be so. Right now, he's sitting comfortably in the 4th position. Championship well in grasp, but we keep an eye on Jordy Fike in the pits there in that yellow and black machine. Mama Jean Mama Jean, things are looking good for your driver there. I think there might be a championship in his midst if he can just bring it home these last 11 laps. He has one pit stop to do and 11 more laps. That's 44 miles away for the Dr. Ramjet from Texas, Amjad Yaman.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? As these cars come down into the dipper, you'll see a puff of smoke on the broadcast and on the video, and that's smoke coming off the tires. That's some of the interesting new things that have come into iRacing, Bill, that you can see sparks flying, you can see smoke coming off tires, you can see grit and dirt being thrown up from the tires as well. Some very interesting graphics that iRacing has included in the simulation right now.
So some of those mid-packers, if we're looking at Amjad Yaman, who's certainly going to be bringing it in this time. Jody Fike currently running in 9th position ahead of Brian Cartier. Now Lanowet has yet to come in, I believe. Lanowet's still in 6th. We're going to kind of keep an eye on these guys who are in that battle back there. And here comes, nope, he's not. Yes, he's coming in finally. Nope, he's not there yet. Still coming down. Oh, we're on Benjamin Lanowet. There, we changed positions. Lanowet currently running a 6th. I believe he has one more stop, his final stop to make. Meanwhile, Yaman has finally brought it into the pits. Maybe we can go ahead, while Yaman is in there, maybe we can go ahead and follow the leaders here and see where they are in relationship to Amjad.
Yeah, let's have a look at Fliss, because he's just coming down to Murray's Corner, the final turn right now. We've got Amjad Yaman still in the pits. It'll be interesting to see whether he can come in. I'm sure that Amjad would like to finish ahead of Patrick Fliss if he can. Has he finished his pit stop yet, Amjad Yaman? Let's have a look.
Coming out right now. Now, Zabo has gone by. Here comes Yaman out of the pits right there. Oh, no, that's not. That's Trip Smith. Sorry. There goes behind him is Amjad Yaman. Going to come out in 3rd. And it looks like Schwenke. Now, here we are again. Schwenke with momentum. But this time, Yaman has a little bit more of a lead. I don't think Schwenke's going to get around him this time like he did on the last pit stop. So Yaman's going to come out in 3rd as he has the lap car of Trip Smith just ahead of him. Trip stays over to the left. Yaman gets around him. So Yaman's going to take over 3rd position. Schwenke going to follow up in 4th position. Now, Garcia was running in 5th. But it looks like he's going to drop a spot back to 6th position as Benjamin Lanowet has passed him. So there's a nice battle between two of our title sponsors. Tidal Influence, they're the title sponsor of the series. And, of course, Eagle Nest Tavern, who pays for the back marker review. And there goes the Eagle Nest Tavern car around the Tidal Influence car. Come on, boys, don't get in trouble. Keep those cars on the track. Make the sponsors happy.
Yep, and indeed, Tidal Influence and Eagle Nest Tavern on screen at the moment. Eagle Nest Tavern going up the mountain at the moment. That is, of course, Eric Garcia, and followed by Benjamin Lanowet, who's kind of also just circulating at the moment. I want to just touch on this thing now. Amjad Yaman indicated that we might need a 3rd pit stop. So 12 laps to go last time by. So can these guys finish on the fuel that they've got? They've made 2 pit stops now. Or do they have to make a 3rd pit stop now? That is of great interest to me. It might not be of interest to you guys, but certainly the strategy will come into play here. Now you can see that Amjad Yaman already, he is not going at full bore. I don't think he's interested in catching Patrick Fliss, Bill. He just wants to be able to make it to the end of this race now, because if he does that and anyone else in front of him has to pit, then he's going to win this race. So that's what the strategy is all about here.
Richard, I'm always interested in whatever you're interested in. You know, Australian folk bands, I'm ready to go on that. You know what? Strange beers of the Down Under, yeah, count me in. Whatever you're interested in, I'm part of it. But yeah, I think we're pretty safe to say that when Yaman pitted with 11 laps to go, I think we're pretty safe. In fact, even Zabel pitted with 12 laps to go. I think we're all right there as well.
Oh, big bobble there from Travis Schwenke coming out of Murray's Corner. That could have been nasty, because if you get on the grass on the outside of Murray's there, it can throw you to the inside wall. He's managed to save it though. I think he's got an aim of catching and perhaps overtaking Amjad Yaman and putting himself into 3rd place on the podium, because that is what it is. Amjad Yaman and Travis Schwenke fighting for the 3rd place podium position right now.
Al Heaton has also just put it in the wall maybe about 15 seconds ago. It looks like he took a fast tow. Al Heaton was currently running in 15th position. There was on Heaton. Oh, maybe he blew an engine. We saw that puff of smoke. Yeah, I think he either transmission or engine went there, and he just kind of parked it over on the side. Tough to race so long and then have the engine go like that.
Well, what can I say? This is racing at Bathurst. Okay, let's get the cameras on our leader, Tamar Szabo. We haven't shown him much at all, and it's simply been because he has just been out there and just done it from the word go. I don't think he was headed at all, excepting on lap number 1 for a little while by who started, Daniel Kent it was that started in pole position. But I think he got by him, Bill, before the end of the first lap. So it's true to say that he's led just about every lap of this race.
Looking at when he pitted, now he made his Szabo made his first pit stop on lap 13. Then he went 11 more laps and made a second pit stop on lap 23. So if you add 11 to 23, that gives you 34, and that's the race distance.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay, let us have a look here. We're getting information that Swenky has caught up to Amjad Yaman. Amjad Yaman still playing it cautiously at this stage. He might indeed wave Swenky by. I don't think he's going to be too anxious to get into a battle with anyone. And Swenky, of course, wants... he's got nothing to fight for really championship-wise. So he's going to try and get the best position he can in the race. And Amjad Yaman fighting for the championship is not going to want to jeopardize that in any shape or form, Bill. So he's going to let Swenky by if it comes down to the wire.
Right now, Jan Koemans from his Swiss hotel room is sending text to Amjad Yaman that Travis Swenky thinks his mother is ugly, and that he's sending text to Travis Swenky that Amjad Yaman dated your sister. He's trying to get any type of conflict going on between those two, because if something bad happens, then with Deuce Allen being out, that's the championship for Koemans, but I don't think those guys are going to fall for it. It is interesting, though, to see how hard these guys paddle, at least Amjad Yaman. And, you know, Richard, we had Travis Swenky earlier on our pre-race interview, and you heard him say, my job is to stay out of the way of the guys battling for the championship. So he knows what's going on.
Oh, yeah. The courtesy is going to be front and center in the minds of these drivers. They're all great drivers. I know all of them pretty well, and Travis Swenky is a gentleman. He is not going to try and take a championship away from someone who he knows is probably in a dogfight better than he is, or as good as he is. And at this track, if you're gonna do battle, you need to pick the places where you're gonna do battle. But I'm pretty sure that in the back of his mind as well, Bill, he would like to finish on the podium. So there's that little carrot hanging there, which let's see if he's going to try and grab onto that carrot.
Okay, now let's go back to Jordy Fike. We finally have a real battle going on. These guys have finally decided to race instead of drive. A battle between Fike and Holland now as they go side by side. Cialis bathtubs heading down into the right-hander, and it looks like Holland's going to take it as they head up the hill. Holland moves into 6th position, Fike into 7th. We saw a battle earlier between Garcia and Lanawet, our two title sponsors. I don't think Lanawet had come in to make that pit stop because he had to peel off. Now he's come back. Lanawet in the title influence car has dropped back to 8th position. So Fike now into 7th. Holland into 6th, Garcia comfortably running in 5th. We go a little, in fact, let's bring up the, if we can, Director, while we have time, let's go ahead and pay some bills here, and let's bring up the Eagle Nest Tavern back marker review. And we're going to start, Ursum is in the pit, so let's see if we can start on the last car on the track. We're looking for somebody, Travis Swenky in the pits, Daniel Kent is out there. Eagle Nest Tavern back marker review, Daniel Kent currently 7 laps down, running in 16th position. In 16th position, in 15th position, just ahead of him, if we can figure out who's that going to be, if our director maybe can tell me. Al Heaton currently in the pits right now, running in 15th position, 4 laps ahead of Daniel Kent. As I hear some more contact out there, let me see if I can find it. Was there trouble with Benjamin Lanouette? I'm going to take a quick look at Benjamin Lanouette, see if he got into trouble. No, I guess he's okay. So let's continue on with this. I thought maybe Ben might have got to... Where were we? Al Heaton, Jeroen Ursum then, currently running in 14th position in the pits. Trip Smith, he's out there. There's a back marker in the Moose Mobile, running in 13th position, 1 lap down. Just ahead of him in 12th position, Billy Bob Wright in the X-Lax machine. Not his best finish today, but still having a nice run. The first car 1 lap down. Last car on the lead lap had to serve a stop-and-go penalty, having a very clean race from, I think it's Sweden or Norway. It says Scandinavia. I believe it's Sweden, if I remember right. Andre Hedgeheim. If it's Norway, I apologize. I know they don't like to be confused on that, even though it's all the same to us in California. So I just learned that Finland was not part of Scandinavia, in contradiction of what my 6th grade sister Mary Catherine taught me. In a 10th position, Dexter Castro running in 10th, moving 1 spot ahead there to, we're going to be done with this. Let's wrap it up with 9th position, Brandon Cartier. And that's your Eagle Nest Tavern back marker review. Hey, if you're ever in Green Valley Lake, stop in for a hot meal and a cold drink at Eagle Nest Tavern. Richard, what do you got to talk about there?
Well, I want to just inform the viewers that there are some drivers who are completely out of the race. So, John Allen is sitting in the pits at the moment, but for all intents and purposes, he's out of the race. Michael Wright had a much earlier exit, 20 laps down, he's out of the race. Carlos Torres only lasted a few laps, 23 laps down at the moment, he's out of the race. Juan Tran, a newcomer to the series, whether he'll be back next season, I assume he will. He's out of the race, 23 laps down as well. So some of these guys haven't had the most auspicious run at Bathurst, but let's hope that they will be. By the way, Bill, on the iRacing forums, there's been some chatter about what are good MX-5 leagues to get into. And from the responses that I've seen from regulars in this series, let's face it, the MX-5 World Tour wins hands down, Bill. This is easily the most competitive, the most intriguing, and the most populated MX-5 series out there.
Yeah, and series managers appreciate that, and the check is the mail to those drivers. TeamSpeak will hold up here again, as we mentioned, all the drivers who are out of the race. It won't include Richard and I, as we begin to sputter a little bit, sounding a little bit like the robots on Galactica. But so far, it's good, as we're watching battle right now, and I use that term loosely, between Swanky there and Yaman on screen. Swanky just staying behind him, maybe a little closer than Yaman would like, in case Yaman gets into a little trouble. Just want Swanky to get to the back of him, but I think those guys are pretty comfortable together. Let's see how tune in on this Holland. You know, this is funny. We see this Holland fight battle going on all race. Holland we seem to be really fast and then just kind of slow it down to make sure he had the fuel. Now that he's able to race, he's pulled away from Jordy 5, comfortably running in 6th position. Great run from Derek Holland.
Yeah.
And looking at Daniel Kent had trouble again. Daniel Kent has slowed.
Oh, dear. Yep, he's in the pits at the moment. In the pole position, he started, had his troubles right from the start, and him back in the pits again. He's currently 7 laps down, so one wonders whether he will come back out again. Bearing in mind, we are on lap 21. There's still a long way to go. We've had about 1.25 hours of racing, so that means there will be at least another 15 minutes of racing. And we are talking about 34 laps, so that is another, how many laps to go? Let's have a look at our leader here. Tamar Zabo's on lap 28. So 28 from 34, that'll be 6 laps when he goes by right now. But Bill, I just wanted to mention, for those of you who watch Doctor Who, that robot sound that we're getting from TeamSpeak, we sound like Daleks at some points in time.
There we go. I think I dated myself there with the Battlestar Galactica reference. We're looking there at Amjad Yaman. I'm going to take you through. We're going to talk about one thing here since, boy, I love these 90-minute races. There's however long, these 75-minute races, however long we are here. Gives us a chance to elaborate a little bit. Okay, Jan Koeman is not here today. He has raced at least one time in each of the 10, this and 9 previous seasons. The only other driver to do that is Giuseppe Joseph Arrow, who's also not here today. It's unusual to see Joseph not in the race. He had trouble qualifying and didn't enter today. The only other driver who has raced at least one time in each of the 10 seasons is, let's put the cameras on him right now, 49 Motorsports, Dexter Castro. And why do I bring this up? Because we can announce here, I wish we had a graphic to go with it, that the secret committee has met. And congratulations to Dexter Castro for being put on the Wall of Fame of the Quality Racing Syndicate. So he joins other greats like Blondie's Bar, and of course our own Giancarlo Lenzi is up on that wall for some of his early exploits in the series, as well as being a founding member of Global Sim Racing Channel. So congratulations, Dexter, you've made the Wall of Fame.
Well, now let's turn the cameras on to Patrick Fliss. Now, Patrick Fliss is running in second place, and that's not all that important at this point in time. What is important, Bill, of course, is that if Patrick Fliss continues and finishes the race as he might do and probably will on the lead lap, that will give him the honor. The honor of being the very first driver to complete an Ironman championship by finishing every race on the lead lap. Is that correct?
That's right. Nine times before, like a knight slaying the dragon. 9 knights have tried before, and every time the dragon has got the best of them, and their bones were left charred and flesh evaporated. But it looks like Patrick Fliss is going to slay the dragon. He's picked up the Excalibur sword and will slay the dragon. That is the elusive perfect Ironman season. And I wish we had a ceremony. I wish there was like a princess to kiss or something, but congratulations. Now the next step for him will be the most consecutive laps, races completed without missing a lap, and that's held by Richard Eklund. So keep it going. We hope to see you next season, Patrick Fliss. You know, my dad said, Richard, that the championship is a hard road to trod, T-R-O-D. It takes talent, resilience, opportunity, and determination. And Patrick Fliss has all of those.
Oh, without a doubt, Patrick Fliss has come into the series as a rookie, and he's improved race by race. And as we see him in second place at the moment, he is certainly the most improved driver in the series for this season. And he's taken it to some of the top drivers. Amjad Yaman, he's taken it to John Allen. He's taken it to some of the other more fancy drivers as well. So hats off to Patrick Fliss for doing a great job. He's been a great ambassador for the series, and he's out there in the forums talking up the series and saying how proud he is to have raced in the series with some of the great drivers that he's been racing with.
You know, it is funny. When the season started, he was just a name based on his previous performance in season 9, and he has been a factor all season
hang
long.
on, Bill. Let's break in here. Is a little bit of a battle going on here for the podium position now. Travis Swenke has caught right up. Sorry to cut into your praise there of Patrick Fliss, but as we go across the mountain right now, we've got Travis Swenke right behind Amjad Yaman. Now, Amjad Yaman wouldn't be liking this one little bit. Not from the point of view of anything else, but for something unforeseen happening and him being taken out, possibly by another driver of any description, not necessarily Travis Swenke. So he wants to be running by himself at this point in time. So somebody this close to him is not going to be to his liking as they break now for Forest Elbow. That was pretty anxious moment there for Amjad Yaman. He braked a little early, was off to the right hand side. The car gets a little skew when you're doing that, so he nearly touched the wall there, and that is not what he would like. So this is an opportunity. I think that if Travis Swenke wants to take the position, MJ Diamond might let him do that. The only thing that'll stop him is pride, and I want to finish in third place, not fourth. So as we see Travis Swenke getting XC, so this is going to be a battle, Bill, because the laps are running down, and this is the fight, the battle for third place.
Yeah, now I would be surprised if Amjad hasn't done the math and knows that third or fourth doesn't matter. Amjad, I think you're probably good all the way down to 8th position there, and I bet you he knows that. So I don't think he's worried about giving up that spot. I think he likes where he is right now as he's beginning to distance himself a little bit from Schwenke. What we talked about earlier, the person who's loving this battle the most is the Speedmaster, Jan Koemans, watching from his deluxe hotel room, sitting next to his beautiful girlfriend Tatiana, sipping champagne and probably looking out over the Swiss Alps there in Zurich. I don't know where he is. I have this image of his. He's a photographer. He travels around the world. I don't know if he takes pictures of like sewers or supermodels. I have no idea. But whatever you're doing, Jan, we're thinking about you. I don't think it's going to happen here today. It looks like Yaman is going to be able to close the deal on that. And while it makes you unhappy, it makes my 93-year-old mother-in-law in Lakewood, California ecstatic. Mama Jean, he's going to do it. You know, Richard, before I throw it back to you, it wasn't long ago that Mama Jean was worried about him even finishing in the top 10. It looked like Yaman was going to have a horrible season. He turned that thing around.
Certainly. At the beginning of the season, I think you said that like he was way out of reach of the top 5 indeed, and I think you said that he's going to struggle to make the top 5. And here he is looking at the possibility of winning the championship. Now, we never say that someone has it in the bag until, in fact, the bag is closed. And at the moment, the bag is not closed. They're on lap 31. There's at least 3 laps to go in this race. And
Oops, did we lose Richard there? Am I still on the air? Where to go to? Because I'm still here. We lost Richard. Okay, good. Yeah, Richard was saying we don't call it till the bag is closed. I'm calling it. The Jello's jiggling, the eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard. Amjad Yaman has this one in the refrigerator. The DECA Season Championship is his to lose with 4 laps to go. That's 16 miles from here as he's in that battle with Schwenke there, but Schwenke doing a great job behind him. Let's go ahead and see where we are sitting there with that battle from the guys. Garcia with a nice top 5. He's had a top 5 before, so that's not going to be the first one. Derek Holland in a great race has pulled away from Jordy Fike now, 2.5 seconds ahead of him. Fike holding on to 7th position. So I'm hearing a little more action going on. Is there a problem somewhere? And I believe Jeroen Ursum once again has put it in the wall. No reason to go there, Director, unless you want to get your face on the screen some more. But I think the Joe Peak machine has had enough screen time. And there's hardly you couldn't recognize yourself anyway, the way that car's all banged up. Benjamin Lanawood running in 8th position right now. There we see the Jeroen Ursum machine. Benjamin Lanawood in 8th position, having a nice quiet run. 18 seconds ahead of Brian Cartier, running in 9th position. Hard to find a battle with only 11 cars on the lead lap and a 4-mile track. Behind him, Benjamin Lanawood. We got a little bit of a battle here. Benjamin Lanawood has gotten around Dexter Castro. Give a tip of the hat to our... Oh, I'm sorry, Andre Hedgeheim, sorry. Andre Hedgeheim has gotten around Dexter Castro. Give a tip of a hat to Castro, who's kept that injured car out there running off speed, trying to stay on the lead lap. And Hedgeheim for serving that stop-and-go penalty and having a great run, getting into the top 10. So there's your top 10 going as I'm all by myself now with 3 laps to go. We miss Richard when he's not here. What else can we talk about? We're hearing that Dexter Castro cut the course going through Dipper. He's trying to shorten his race as quickly as possible. A slowdown penalty probably won't matter much to him as he's running slow enough already. He may not even notice. Currently running in 11th position, the last car on the lead lap. Let's look at 12th spot. Billy Bob Wright, all by himself, 17 seconds ahead of his nearest competitor in the X-Lax machine. Nice race from him. Having a great season. He's going to have a real chance at the Most Improved Driver award. I'm not sure if he's going to get it, but he's in the hunt for that. 13th position, Trip Smith, 3 laps back. Been on and off, been in the wall, still keeping that LL Bean car looking pretty good. Boy, that's a pretty machine with that moose right up on front there. Makes you want to take a trip, makes you want to go hunting if that you were so inclined. I guess we shouldn't be talking about going hunting when the name of this race is the Cecil Memorial. Of course, we all know about Cecil, the tragic lion that was shot in Africa, poached in Africa, actually. Looking at 13th position, let's go ahead, Jerome Ursum. There we get another shot to get Joe Peak's face on the screen. Not going to be able to get that, actually in 14th position, I guess. Not going to be able to get that top 10 position, but I think it's going to happen next season. Jeroen, keep coming in. All right, with 2 laps to go, why don't we spend some time looking at our leader? Amjad, we're talking here, Amjad Yaman has not won a race this season, and Thomas Zabel has not either, so that'll make... We've had several winners this week. If I can do it by off the top of my head, that's Zabel has one, Maillard has one, Allen has one. I believe Marco Mogren might have got one if I remember correctly. And of course, I'm probably forgetting a few in there somewhere. Richard Eklund has a win in there. A lot of winners, multiple winners this season. And this will be the first one for Thomas Zabel, and it was great to see him come back. He hasn't raced a full schedule. Always welcome. Those guys who are veterans are always welcome to come back and race with us. Thomas Zabel from Hungary. Nice, clean race. We talked about it being wire-to-wire. He had 1 or 2 previous races this season and was 18th in what we call the Quick 6 grid, which means that that's the formula we use to re-grid the drivers who finish in the Quick 6. And because he was so far down the grid, he was able to get that first row starting position. Fell behind Daniel Kent there, who got out in front a little bit, made quick work though, Kent, and then went wire-to-wire. So it's great to see him having a comfortable race right now. Running on lap right now, his lap 33 with really 1 to go as soon as he crosses start-finish line. One of the beauties about the MX-5 World Tour is that these races are lapped races and not timed races, so we know exactly when that white flag is going to fall. Patrick Fliss running in second position, 11 seconds ahead of Amjad Yaman and Swenke. Maybe we should go back and cover that battle, see what's going on back there. Fliss has several bridesmaid finishes this season. Never the bride, always the bridesmaid, or often the bridesmaid this season. Currently running in second position. Let's go back and look at this battle. And again, we use it generously here because I'm not really sure that Travis Swenke is going to make a move on Amjad Yaman. Amjad Yaman running in third position. All he needs is a top 8 position. He's got 5 spots ahead of him right now. Even if he were to crash, he's probably in a pretty good space to be able to limp that car home in the top 8 to get that championship. The DECA season, the 10th season that the MX-5 Tour has been racing. Amjad running currently in third. And I would say usually, if I didn't know better, I would say he was being hounded. He was being pestered. He was being stalked by Travis Swenke. I don't believe that's the case this time. I believe Travis Swenke, I think he is being trailed. He is being watched, I think is probably more what she's going. Amjad Yaman is being babysitted by Travis Swenke. Swenke making sure that nothing gets in his way. Maybe Swenke, if a kangaroo runs out on the track, Swenke might take that beautiful orange machine and get in front of Amjad Yaman to save his car. As we enter now, as they cross the start-finish line, starting the last lap for those drivers running third and fourth. Thomas Zabel well a ways away before he crosses the finish line. A great job. Let's go to our sponsor, 5th position. We have time to get the screen on him. Eagle Nest Tavern. And I'm telling you, we have the home offices of the Quality Racing Syndicate is based in Green Valley Lake. And if you're ever up in Green Valley Lake, stop into the Eagle Nest Tavern. It's very important, though, that you make sure that you limit your alcohol content because they will not let you drive home. They will make you walk home no matter how cold it is. So just give you fair warning on that one. And it gets cold. Yes, that is from experience, Director. And it gets cold at 7,000 feet in Green Valley Lake, even if you're only a block away. Moving on, as we're going to keep an eye on Thomas Zabel. Maybe we'll wrap up these top 10 real quick. Derek Holland, a great run in 6th position right now. Well ahead of Jordy Fike, running in 7th position in that yellow and black machine, a tribute to Speed Racer, I believe. Benjamin Lanowed in the Tidal sponsor. Let's thank Tidal Influence for making this happen. They put up a lot of the green American dollars to get this on the air, and we thank them for that. And finally, Brian Cartier in 9th position there. having a great race. And Andre Hedgeheim, good to see him come home clean in that machine. Moving to the top now, let's go ahead and put our cameras on for the rest of the way. Thomas Szabo, the Hungarian goulash. No, I have no nickname for Thomas, but he is from Hungary, and he's hungry for a win. I can tell you that much right now. As he's heading down with only a few corners to go, has he gone through the chase yet? I believe he has. Yes, he's going through the chase right now, so he only has just a couple more to go here with this. Going through pit lane entrance right now. He'll have this left-hander, and he is going to win the grand finale, the double points, double distance Cecil Memorial final race of the MX-5 World Tour DECA season. Congratulations to the victory. Second place going to Patrick Fliss. Another second place for him. Let's make sure he has enough fuel to get there. Don't want to call this too soon. Yes, he's going to be able to get that car stop across on a two-stop strategy. In third position, and we are almost certain of it, the DECA season champion. He was in 10th place. They worried he wouldn't get a top 5 finish in the standings. Well, what do you know, Mama Jean? He's winning the championship. Your overall champion is Amjad Yaman. Congratulations. Fourth place on the day goes to Travis Swenke. Fifth position, as we'll go ahead and follow these guys all the way across, is Eric Garcia. And we'll wait for him to round out the top 5, and we'll go to break. Eric just has one more corner to go. Eric Garcia, again, in the Eagle Nest Tavern machine. Congratulations to all the drivers who've participated in Season 10. The good news is we will all be back again next season as we watch Garcia going through the chase for the season of the Aquarius. That's right, the Aquarius is the 11th sign in the Zodiac, and this will be the 11th season for the MX-5 World Tour. As we stay on the camera on Eric Garcia as he eventually gets to this final corner and crosses in the top 5. Okay, we are going to go to break. Stay tuned because we will have interviews. We will have a total rundown. We will have Richard Losper doing a Australian sailor song. I don't know what possibly that could be. And of course, closing credits. So be back in a few minutes. Watch the slideshow for upcoming races. Welcome to the post-race show brought to you here on the Global Sim Racing channel. And welcome all of you back, and I welcome back also my booth mate Richard Losper, who is back with me hopefully till the end of the race, and hopefully we're all here till the end of the broadcast. Let's go ahead and run down our finishing order here for all the drivers, the 21 that actually entered the race today. Your leader at the top of the board, Thomas Szabo, his first race of the winning race of the season. A nice, not wire to wire, but darn near close to wire to wire. Patrick Fliss, another bridesmaid performance for him. Hopefully, when he comes back for next season, maybe we can get a win for the Slovene machine. But the good news for him was he was able to complete all the laps, and yes, he has slayed the dragon. That is the perfect Iron Man season. Congratulations to the Slovene machine, Patrick Fliss. Amjad Yaman, your DECA season points champion. We thought he was out of the top 5 race earlier. Mama Jean was discouraged. Well, Mama Jean, break out the gin martini now, because Amjad Yaman has won the Season 10, the DECA season overall points championship. Travis Swanky, a great battle from him, finishing in 4th position as he babysitted Yaman all the way to the checkered flag. Eric Garcia in 5th position. The California driver has had a top 5 before, and he's going to add one more in there. Derek Holland, very fast today. Once the fuel strategy was over, was able to leave behind Jordy Fike and a comfortable 6th position. Jordy Fike in 7th, as I mentioned. Benjamin Alanowit took that pit stop, dropped down a few positions into 8th position. Brian Cartier, another California driver, into the top 10 in 9th position. And Andre Hedgeheim, the Scandinavian driver that covers all my bases, whether it is Norway or Sweden, in 10th position, served the stop-and-go penalty. Richard, who do you have in 11th?
Well, hopefully everyone can hear me. I've had my share of gremlins today, that's for sure. However, I am on air, hopefully, and in 11th place we had Dexter Castro. Uncharacteristic for Dexter to finish that low down, 1 lap down as well, so he's had his problems today. Billy Bob Wright finished in 12th position, also 1 lap down. Trip Smith, this is a good finish for Trip Smith. He finished in 13th position, 1 lap down. Then Jeroen Ursem. Now we've been rooting for Jeroen to get a top 10 all season long. Unfortunately, it has not happened. Today, in the final race of the season, he finished in 14th place, 5 laps down. Al Heaton finished in 15th place, 12 laps down. Daniel Kent, who was our pole sitter, finished in 16th place, 13 laps down. John Deuce Allen, what can I say? John, commiserations. Going into this race, you had every chance of winning the championship. Not to be this season, my friend. We will see you back hopefully next season when we will continue to talk about you winning a championship, hopefully. But you today finished in 17th place, 24 laps down. Quite a few mishaps and making friends with walls, etc. Michael Wright finished in 18th position, 29 laps down. Carlos Torres, 32 laps down in 19th position. Tuan Tran, 32 laps down, 20th position. Benjamin Nelson, 32 laps down in the 21st position. And that was the field for today, 21 cars. Bill?
Yeah, but just for those drivers who didn't quite have the result they want, you got to keep the faith, boys and girls. I think Jeroen Ursem, I think it's going to happen next season. I think that top 10 is going to come next season. And John Deuce Allen, this time you knocked on the championship door. Season 11, you're going to kick that thing in. So let's hope that we see those guys next season in the season of the Aquarius, soon to be announced on this very station's website. Okay, let's go ahead and do some interviews. I think, why don't we start with, we can't do Thomas Szabo because he's not fluent in English, so he usually does come in for an interview. Richard, let's see if we have Amjad in there yet?
We can bring Amjad in. Well, he's there now.
There we go. Richard, why don't you talk to our points champion today?
Certainly. Amjad, congratulations, my friend. You have won Season 10, the DECA Season Championship, finished in P1. That is confirmed by league admin Bill Zahn. Congratulations. It was a hard-fought championship. At the beginning, you were so far back, we didn't think you'd make the top 5. But here you are on the podium of the championship and a podium position, 3rd place today as well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it myself at the beginning of the season. When I first started out this season, I was just so slow. I was just actually discouraged. And then the turning point of the season, Mama Jane getting on my case. I'm not kidding. When Bill put the post up on the forum saying that Mama Jane was disappointed in me, I took that personally. So I decided to step up my game, and I don't think I've missed a podium since. So, Mama Keen, this one is for you.
Fantastic. This is what it's all about. And look, Amjad, today's race, a lot of attrition today. How do you feel about John Allen? I mean, from a certain point of view, no doubt you're happy. But I'm sure, being the sportsman that you are, that's not the way you wanted John to finish.
Oh, definitely not. I mein, I was queuing him on in the team speak. We were actually working together during the times that we had, and when he hit I heard him hit the wall, and I was so dejected, but at the same time so excited because I know I can just relax for the rest of the hour and a half that the race went on, and I knew the championship was going to be mine.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. Well, look, what can I say? This is a hard-fought championship. I mean, I don't know what the result would have been had Jan Koemans been able to make these last 2 races.
He would have won.
But certainly, it's no mean feat to win a championship. So, hats off to you. Congratulations. I'm done here. Bill, you have some question for Amjad?
2 quick questions for you. First of all, when you had Schwenke behind you there, Travis is so well respected. Were you probably weren't that nervous that something bad was going to happen, or what were you thinking there?
Oh, no. Travis is a bro. He's. I knew he wouldn't do anything stupid to wreck his race and wreck my race. So we just kind of figured we'll see a few together, and at the last lap, let's go for it. We did. We had a little too wide going to the final chicane. It was all good. Had a lot of fun.
Now, the big question here around GSRC, because we know you love doing the GSRC work in the director's booth. Are you thinking of hanging up the helmet, going out a winner, pulling a give me a sip in the champagne and then hanging up the helmet, or do you think you'll be back for one more season?
Oh, I can't say no to hanging up the helmet.
Depends on Mama Jean.
Yeah, that too. But no, as long as I have the time to race these races, I definitely want to defend my championship.
Well, congratulations, and we'd like to stay impartial, but you've been a long-time supporter of the series, and we all know that Koemans is great, but like it takes everything to fall into the right place. You have to have the opportunity. You have to be able to put the time aside to do this. You've done all those things. Congratulations on your championship.
All right, thank you, and shout-outs to my 49 Motorsports bros, Dexter, John. Without your camaraderie, this wouldn't have happened. Thanks, guys.
I'm Jed Yaman. Okay, Richard, are you ready to talk to the Ironman Championship? Now, he did not get a win today. He got another 2nd place. He's been very good at getting 2nd places. Let's go ahead, Rich. What do you have to talk to Patrick Fliss about?
Absolutely. Patrick, congratulations, my friend, on a very good 2nd place today. There was a lot of stuff happening behind you and in front of you early on in the race, people hitting the walls, etc. You were so steady today, kept it all together, finished in 2nd place, and you have got that target which you were aiming for, we understand, of winning the Ironman Championship with every mile run. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. I think I also won the lottery, but I'm not sure.
Well, that'll be nice too. Patrick, you are so much faster than what I expected, because I chart you guys. You say I know what he's done before, and even so much faster here, even to the end of this season than the beginning of this season. A lot of 2nd place. I think there's a chance for a victory if you can devote the time to coming back next season. You think you can do one more run with us?
Yes, definitely. I really enjoy it here. really awesome racing.
Well, congratulations. Now, I'm going to give you one more goal now. You've got the perfect Ironman, but there's one more record to break. Richard Eklund holds the record for most consecutive races finishing on the lead lap. You're not there yet, so I'll get those numbers out to you and get you one more goal that you can carry over into Season 11.
Okay, thank you. Also, I would just like to thank my legs for always supporting me.
Oh, and we got to talk. See, now we have to... Richard, we blew it last week.
Yes, we did.
He said last week, we weren't paying attention. He says, I'd like to thank my... What was the line? I'd like to thank my mom and dad and my parents, too. So.
Yes, he certainly did that. We missed it, and he had to go on the forum to remind us. But we got it this time, Patrick. Hey, congratulations, man. Well done for the whole season, and we'll see you over in the official series sometime.
Yeah, thank you, definitely.
We don't hear from Patrick for like 24 races, and all of a sudden he becomes the highlight in the interview booth. All right, congratulations. Boy, he's a likable guy. Let's move him out of here so he doesn't have to hear us talk about him. All right, next up, who can we bring in here? Let's see if we can chase down somebody. Maybe,
Benjamin Lanowit. Let's talk to Benjamin.
Go ahead, Rich.
Benjamin Lanowit, do you have a copy?
Hello.
Benjamin, not often that we talk to you. In fact, I can't remember ever having talked to you. So welcome to the interview room. So today you finished in, I think, was 8th place today. You had some good battles going on around you with Jordy Fike, Derek Holland, Brian Cartier, etc. Did you have a bit of fun out there today?
Absolutely, it was a blast out there. My main concern during the race was fuel saving, and I saved so much, in fact, that I could have gone another lap by the end.
Well, you know what, Benjamin? For the whole season, and I think, I'm not sure about last season, but certainly this season, you've run the Tidal Influence car. Tidal Influence is a very good sponsor of this series. They also have a good standing, I believe, in what they do. Tidal Influence, they are interested in issues to do with the environment. So you've been a fantastic ambassador for them, and we thank you for that. And I guess, look, you're not a top 5 finisher, you're not a potential winner, but you've been there for a long time. So congratulations on another season. And the question I have is, will you be back next season again?
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I love this series more than any other iRacing series I've ever done.
Fantastic. Over to you, Bill. Any questions for Benjamin?
No, I just want to thank Benjamin to let you know that the Tidal Influence, they like you because you're always out there. Easy car to find, and you put in the miles. So hopefully we'll get you to race with them again next season. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm proud to be sponsored. It's wonderful.
Thanks, Benjamin. That's great. We'll see you in Season 11. Benjamin Nelson, your 4-time Ironman champion, going to finish in 2nd place behind Patrick Bliss. We have one last quick one to do, Richard. I'm going to take this one because I have some news for this guy. The main man, Dexter Castro. Do you have a copy?
Yes, indeed, I do.
We're going to get this in real quick because we're running out of time here, but I got some news from you for you that you might be interested in. 11th place finished today, 1 lap down. You knew all of that, but here's what you may not know. The secret committee has met, and you are now officially been voted onto the Wall of Fame. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. That actually that means a lot. Thank you.
You've been around since there aren't many of us left. You've been around since the very beginning, and your contribution to the series, both on the track and in the forums, is unmatched. So it's great. It's hard to tell when you're a young man what your schedule is going to be like, but if you can look that far into the future, you think you got one more season in you?
Well, I don't know. This coming up season might not. I might not be able to make the full season, but hopefully I will. I'll always try to make whatever races I can, but I'm wanting to get back into more acting and various stuff that invariably decides to put itself on the weekend. So I don't know how much availability I'll have next year.
Well, man, you're always welcome for whatever you can give us, and that goes not only for you, but all the veterans, the Maillards, the Mogrens, the great drivers that we've had. The Jelenkos are welcome to come in and visit whenever we can. Kumans, the list goes on and on. Sergio Mora, you've seen them all, Dexter. It's great to have you race with us, and we'll see you for as much as we can next season.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun. It's been 10 seasons now, plus the preseason, which I started off by causing a wreck and writing an essay on why it wasn't my fault. So, but yeah, definitely, I think everybody in this series has come a long way. And back then it wasn't even broadcast, but it's been a lot of fun.
Great to have you. Thank you, Dexter. Dexter Castro, your latest addition, your latest hanger on the Wall of Fame. Richard, that'll do it. We're going to wrap up now as we went 90 minutes. My wife is saying, my goodness, how long is this race, honey? Well, honey, we're all done. So, Richard, usually we go right to the plugs, but since this is the last race, I'll throw it to you real quickly before our director gets mad at me. Any final thoughts?
Well, for a season finale, this was not perhaps the most exciting race in terms of battles. But certainly, for the season, we have seen some terrific battles. We've seen heartbreak, we've seen elation, we've seen excitement, we've seen massive finishes, unbelievable finishes. So the MWTS, the MX-5 World Tour, has got to be the premier place for MX-5 racing. And those are my thoughts, Bill. We are back for an 11th season, as Bill said. It will be broadcast once again by hook or by crook. And Bill, we look forward to it already.
Okay, and as promised, as we go to the final plugs, we're going to turn the mic volume down a little bit on Richard Losper there, and he's going to sing some background Australian sea chanties while I read these plugs to you. We'd like to quickly thank the Tidal Influence, an ecological consulting firm based in Long Beach, California, that restores wetlands and saves studies endangered species and educates children about the environment. For more information, go to TidalInfluence.com. I can hear the echo of my voice in the background. The best kept secret in Southern California is Green Valley Lake. Your best choice of lodging in of course, is Mountaintop Cabin Rentals. Go to GVL Cabin Rentals for more information. And while you're at Green Valley Lake, stop into for a cold drink and a hot meal at Eagle's Nest Tavern. You'll find them on Facebook. That's incredibly distracting. Thanks to the companies and equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that make our company possible as Losper hits the great closing note. The original music heard on today's broadcast, not that stuff you just heard, but the actual background music is provided by Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See on screen for how to contact them. Thanks to my mic make, the golden-throated Richard Losper and our director Joe Peak, Douglas Beard for the camera locations. If you'd like to find out more about Global Sim Racing Channel, your best bet, of course, is globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archive races and race highlights. You're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. For the Tidal Influence MX-5 World Tour returns February 6th. That's what they're telling me. For Season 6, the Aquarius. Season of the Aquarius, that's what they're calling it. The 11th sign in the Zodiac and the aptly named MX-5 World Tour 11th season. For more information on upcoming broadcasts, go to GSRC Broad at globalsimracingchannel.com. And now that the housekeeping is out of the way for the final time this season, we're going to go off and have fun storming the castle. So, until next time, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.